we have started with the part 1 second schedule, in which we just studied clause 1 part 1 second schedule 112. What was 112 regarding? Yes, breach of confidentiality for CAs in practice. Can I call it this way? Clause 112 is nothing but breach of confidentiality for CAs in practice, not to disclose the secrets of the client unless required by law or taken prior permission of the client for the same. Right, now we come to clause 2 part 1 second schedule. Okay, say some company, they prepared their financial statements. Say some company, they prepared their financial statements. And with these financial statements, they came to the chartered accountant. And they said, Arey CA, there's no financial statements we had prepared. We wanted an audit report on these. So CA says, okay, audit report on financial statements. Just a minute, I have a format ready. So immediately he opens a format. He puts the name of the entity, replace karke everywhere. And then immediately he issues an audit report, independent auditor's report, and signs it. Okay, and then he says 20,000 rupees. I gave you audit report now, the moment you asked for audit report. It's like, again school days. You had some mama's wedding, uncle's wedding, or some sister's, masi's wedding. And then you took leave from school for 1 week or so, 10 days or so. And then you had to go back to school, and then you had to show the sick certificate. You understand? So then you used to go to the doctor. And tell the doctor, okay, how much days ka leave is to be shown. And then doctor also says, कि तुमसे इतना बताओ कि कितने दिन का leave का बताना है, बाकी I will do it. You understand? बाकी, and then he'll say give 100 rupees, 200 rupees, whatever it is. Ethically it is wrong, huh? You understand? But just as an example, without doing any checking, without having any typhoid, without having any fever, any cold, any infection, it is written in that medical certificate. As so and so was suffering from some infection, that is why he was advised not to attend school, but now he is physically and mentally fit to attend the school from tomorrow. You understand? So now similarly, CA issued a report on the financial statements without doing the examination of the underlying records. CA expressed an opinion. He issued a report on the financial statements without doing the examination of the underlying records. Then he is guilty of professional misconduct under 212. A chartered accountant in practice is deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he certifies or submits in his name or in the name of his firm any report on examination of financial statements unless the examination of such financial statements and the related records has been done by he, him, his partner, his employee, or another CA in practice. Or another CA in practice. Right? So these are the exceptions. What does it say? When you issue a report on examination of financial statements, who should have done the checking? Either you yourself or your partner or employee. Matlab either directly by the chartered accountant or at least indirectly under his supervision. So even articles will chalega. Right. And why is this another CA in practice over here? Okay, I have to report and issue a report on these financial statements. So what does it say? Before I issue a report on these financial statements, either I should have checked them, or my partners of the firm should have checked them, or my employees should have checked them, or another CA in practice should have checked them. Why this another CA in practice has come over here? For joint auditor or for branch auditor or for both? Branch auditor? CTBR is there. Wonderful. For branch auditor, even though if you use the work of branch auditor, but CTBR continues to be responsible. But for joint audit, does one joint auditor review the work of another joint auditor? No. I've taken an example, look, PwC is doing balance sheet, WWC is doing profit and loss account. But you know, while signing the report on financial statements, they are signing the report on the entire company financial statements. No, they are not saying, no, okay, my sign is only for balance sheet, my sign is only for profit and loss account. So here what, some part of the financial statements have also been checked by another CA in practice. So you know, had this another CA in practice not been over here, joint audits would not have been possible only. And why don't we mention branch audit over there? Because branch audit anyways you have to do the evaluation. Can I ask you, how do you do the evaluation of the work of branch auditor? SA 600. How do you do the evaluation of the work of the branch auditor? If you remember, we had developed a chart. You know, 600, 610 and 620. Right? 620, as you said, CCO, and then findings and conclusions, assumptions and methods, and the source data. Right? 610 OCA. The objectivity of the internal audit function, the technical competence of the internal auditors, and the systematic and disciplined approach, including quality control. 600? Right? You had C cube ADV. Right. One, consider the competence. Then, coordinate with the other auditor while planning the work. Consider the significant findings of the other auditor. Advise the other auditor as to the significant accounting, auditing and reporting requirements. Discuss with the other auditor if need be. Discuss with the other auditor and visit the another auditor. I told you, chota bhai. You understand? Using the work of the branch auditor, internal auditor and the auditor's expert. Right. What are the procedures to be performed for facts which become known to the auditor after the date of the audit report? Yes, loudly. I didn't hear you. Audit report. What are the audit procedures to be performed for facts which become known to the auditor after the date of the auditor's report? DDI. Discuss the matter with the management, determine whether the financial statements need amendment, and inquire as to how management intends to address the issue. You understand? Then two possibilities, before the financial statements are issued and after the financial statements are issued. Then revision of, what does it say? Management agrees to amend the financial statement, management does not agree. Here also two possibilities, management agrees and management does not agree. Revision of financial statement, restatement of accounts. Right. What are the considerations while understanding the nature of services provided by the service organization? What are the considerations while understanding the nature of services provided by the service organization? Very easy one. This one you have to tell me. Yes, Samir and company. Significance, materiality, interaction and relationship. Understanding the nature of services provided by the service organization. You remember Samir and company? So we said, Samir A silent. SMIR, significance of the services, materiality of the transactions, the degree of interaction and the nature of relationship between the user entity and the service organization. What are the audit procedures for reporting for an engagement to report on summary financial statements? What are the procedures to be performed for an engagement to report on summary financial statements? Wonderful. Adequately disclose their summarized nature, adequately disclose the applied criteria, prepared in accordance with the applied criteria, appropriate level of aggregation, compare with the historical financial information, from whom or where audited financial statements are available, and are they really available where they are said to be made available. Thank you so much. You understand, right? So audit procedures, SA 810, है ना, engagements to report on summary financial statements. What are the indications of non-compliance as per SA 250? Out of another country? You can also beat her. Try. Investigations by regulatory organization and information system failure. One last one for right now. When does a risk of material misstatement require special audit consideration? Wonderful. When the risk is a risk of fraud. When does an RMM become an SR? I'm asking you that now. Significant risk, special audit consideration. When the risk is a risk due to fraud. Yes. When the risk is a risk due to related parties, then complexity of the transactions, then unusual transactions, then significant measurement uncertainty in the determination of estimates, and significant economic changes in the regulatory environment. Significant changes in the economic regulatory environment. When does an RMM become an SR? You understand? Even though if you don't get the answers right now, that's normal. You understand? But at least little bit if you remember, okay, something like this we have studied, you know, or even realization of the fact that we have to go and look at the book again after going home, that itself is sufficient. Okay. Right? So what is clause 2, part 1, second schedule? Certifies or submits in his name or in the name of his firm any report on examination of financial statements unless the examination of the financial records and the related records has been done by he, his partner, his employee, another CA in practice. So what does it say? Whenever the CA has to issue a report on financial statements, either directly or at least indirectly under his supervision, the examination of the related records should be done. Without examination of records, if you express an opinion, if you issue a report, if you certify financial statements, then you are guilty of professional misconduct under 212. Do you understand? Like I told you, no, somebody got a set of financial statements to you, you immediately took out a printout of an audit report, signed it and gave it, then you are guilty under 212. Without examination of the related records, you certified. Is everybody getting that? Right. Come to the question. है ना? Mr. Mohan is a practicing CA. He issued a certificate of consumption which did not reflect the correct factual position of the consumption of raw material by the concerned entity. So somebody came to him that please give us a certificate, and immediately he gave a certificate and he did not check the factual position. It was found that the certificate is given on the basis of the data appearing in the minutes of the meetings of the board of directors. And did the CA did the examination of the underlying records? No. Directly on the basis of the board minutes he is certified. So as per clause 2, part 1, second schedule. Yes, but then again, just like what happens in clause 12, you know, you extend clause 12, signing wala to even certificate. So here also you can extend financial statements to certificate. You can do a broader interpretation. So it's coming, 712. It's there in the answer. Because every time when you give a report without checking the records, that is gross negligence. So rather, very frankly speaking, wherever 212 comes, 712 has to come. You understand now? Because wherever you are certifying without examining the records, that means you are grossly negligent in the conduct of your professional duties. Do you get that? Okay. Right. So what does it say? Clause 7, part 1, second schedule also applies because grossly negligent in the conduct of his duties. Therefore, Mohan will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Right. Then we have clause 3, part 1, second schedule. Right. Yes, clause 3, part 1, second schedule. A chartered accountant in practice is deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he permits his name to be used in connection with, are you getting the wordings? Permits, यानी कि allows his name to be used in connection with, क्या बोला है यहाँ पे? Estimate of earnings. If he permits his name to be used in connection with estimate of earnings, contingent upon future transactions. क्या इसका what meaning is of the sentence? Estimate of earnings contingent upon future transactions. What does this mean? Project report. In our language and what we have studied in these standards, this is prospective financial information. Estimate of earnings. यानी कि what earnings are going to be there in the future, contingent upon future transactions. In a manner which may lead to the belief, in a manner which may lead to the belief that he vouches for the accuracy of the forecast. In a manner which may lead to the belief that he vouches for the accuracy of the forecast. So can a CA associate himself with a forecast? Can he associate himself with a forecast? Yes, but moderate assurance to be given in the form of a negative assurance, SAE 3400. You remember that? Nothing has come to our attention that causes us to believe that the assumptions do not provide a reasonable basis. But can you vouch for the accuracy of the forecast? No. If you vouch for the accuracy of the forecast, then you are guilty of professional misconduct under 312, clause 3, part 1, second schedule. Right, come to SAE 3400 in your books. Yes, come to SAE 3400. Can anybody tell me the annexure 1 of SAE 3400? On which page is it? Yes, page number 1.179. Page number 1.179. I think in your own handwriting you would have written over there. Clause 3, part 1, second schedule. Therefore, we do not vouch for the accuracy of the same. Have you found it in your own books? Why is he writing this in his report? Therefore, we do not vouch for the accuracy of the same. Because if he vouches for the accuracy, not in compliance, because if he vouches for the accuracy of the forecast, he is going to be guilty of professional misconduct under clause 3, part 1, second schedule. But does that mean that a chartered accountant cannot associate himself with a forecast? He can associate, but only he can give a moderate assurance in the form of a negative assurance. He cannot vouch for the accuracy of the forecast. What are the 4 conditions subject to which he can associate himself with the forecast? 1, the basis of forecast should be given in the prospective information. Then the basis of assumptions, the assumptions made should be clearly disclosed. Then after that, what does it say? The sources of information underlying the assumptions, okay, from where these assumptions have been made. Basis of forecast, basis of assumption should be disclosed. Sources of information, and last one, he should not vouch for the should not vouch for the accuracy of the forecast. He should not vouch for the accuracy of the forecast. Basis of forecast, basis of assumptions, sources of information indicate the source of information, and he should not vouch for the accuracy of the forecast. Then a CA can associate himself with a forecast. And for further, you can say, you can refer SAE 3400, the examination of prospective financial information. What are the wordings of 312? If he permits his name to be used in connection with estimate of earnings contingent upon future transactions in a manner which may lead to the belief that he vouches for the accuracy of the forecast. Right? That is clause 3, part 1, second schedule. Right. What does it say? Basis of forecast, major assumptions made in the forecast, sources of information, and he should not vouch for the accuracy of the forecast. Right. Come to question number 1. As a CA in practice, Dennis is offered to conduct a review of the profit forecast prepared by the company in connection with its application for a term loan from a financial institution. Can the CA accept this review? Yes, but subject to the conditions. 1. Clause 3, part 1, second schedule. Further, as per SAE 3400. The basis of forecast, the major assumptions, the sources of information, and he should not vouch for the accuracy of the forecast. If you remember, I had very much stressed upon this word, based on the evidence supporting the assumptions. What do we check in prospective financial information? Assumptions. You understand? We had prepared match the following, no? You remember our match the following? Which we had prepared. Historical financial information or audited financial statements, we said applicable financial reporting framework. Summary financial statements, we said applied criteria. Prospective financial information, we said assumptions. And pro forma financial information, there we said applicable criteria. You remember pro forma financial information, there what did we say? Applicable criteria. This was the match the following which we had prepared, no? Right, so you're subject to these 4 conditions. So what does it say? Hence, Dennis may accept the offer if the above requirements are complied with. Right, question number 2. MN & Company, a firm of CAs, prepared and signed the forecast of a company's earnings contingent upon future transactions without mentioning the basis on which the estimates were prepared. Basis of forecast has to be given, no? It is one of our 4 conditions, no? Basis of forecast. And what do they say? Without mentioning the basis. A bank granted a loan to the said company based on the above forecast signed by MN & Company. When the company defaulted in the repayment of the loan, the bank filed a complaint against MN & Company. So what are you going to write in the answer? The bank is justified in filing a complaint against MN & Company. Because why? The basis of forecast have not been given. You're going to write down the 4 conditions. The basis of forecast, the basis of assumptions, the sources of information, and he should not vouch for the accuracy of the forecast. And then you're going to write down 312. Right? The council recognized that all forecasts are estimates based upon certain transactions duly evaluated on the consideration of various relevant factors and as such not capable of being ascertained with accuracy. The CA is guilty of professional misconduct and the bank is justified in making a complaint to the institute. Right? Read question number 3. E, a practicing CA, was requested by one of his clients to prepare a projection for next 5 years and also a report on the same. E, after having prepared the same, stated in his report the sources of information, the basis of forecast, the major assumptions. He also stated that he does not vouch for the accuracy of forecast. Such type of questions are called student-friendly questions. All the 4 points which are required to be written in the answer are over there. But students who have not learned those 4 points, they'll think, "Kyun likha hai ye itna sab story?" You understand now? All the 4 points which are required to be there in the answer. What does it say? Basis of forecast, sources of information, major assumptions, and he does not vouch for the accuracy of the forecast. Right? So clause 3, part 1, second schedule. Accuracy does not refer to mathematical accuracy All forecasts are estimates based on certain assumptions duly evaluated on consideration of various relevant factors and cannot be ascertained with accuracy. Right? Therefore, there is no violation of the Chartered Accountants Act and its regulations. So see, generally when he is not guilty of professional misconduct, what do they say? Therefore, there is no violation of the Chartered Accountants Act and the regulations. So rather than saying that he is not guilty of professional misconduct, this could also be an alternative way. Okay, there is no violation of the Chartered Accountants Act and the regulations. Right? So that is clause 3, part 1, second schedule. And a clause, first schedule is on the left hand side. Mentally we keep it on the left hand side, virtually. And second schedule we have it on the right hand side. Second schedule we are discussing part 1. In that we have discussed the first 3. And a breach of confidentiality CS in practice certifies without examining the records, vouches for the accuracy of the forecast. Now clause 4, part 1, second schedule. A chartered accountant in practice is deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he expresses his opinion on the financial statements of any business or enterprise, expresses his opinion on the financial statements, then it says you're guilty of professional misconduct. What does it say? Iska matlab kya कि you cannot express an opinion on the financial statements of the below. It's like an additional disqualification for the company auditor. 412 is like an additional disqualification for the company auditor now. Because what does it say? Guilty of professional misconduct if he expresses an opinion on the financial statements of any business or enterprise where he, his partner, his firm or his relative as per AS 18 has substantial interest. Substantial interest 20%. So what does it mean? You cannot express an opinion on the financial statements of the business or enterprises where you, your partner, your firm or your relative has substantial interest. This is why, to keep the maker-checker different. So say I am the director of a company. Can I do the audit of that company? I'm a director of Geo Limited, and I'm also a CA in practice. Can I do the audit of Geo Limited? Can I express an opinion on their financial statements? No. You understand? Say I am teaching at AS Foundation, I'm working at AS Foundation. Can I do the audit of AS Foundation? No. Why? Because that comes under clause 4, part 1, second schedule. So these are like additional disqualifications for the company auditor given under the Chartered Accountants Act. Not to express an opinion on the financial statements of any business or enterprise where you, your partner, your firm or your relative AS 18 has substantial interest. Not to express opinion on financial statements. But say AS Foundation ke liye I have to do some information system work. Can I do that information system work? Yes, information system work related to the details and related to the employer, that can be done. And information system work is the exception to 412. Expression of opinion on financial statements is the misconduct in 412. But doing information system work for the employer is the exception to 412. Information system, operation system, whatever data analysis work, that it says no problem. But expressing opinion on financial statements, it says problem. So you can keep this example in mind. I'm teaching at AS Foundation. Can I do the audit of AS Foundation? No. But can I do some data analysis work for AS Foundation? Though I am the employee and that's my employer, yes, still I can do the data analysis because that is information system work. Does everybody understand what am I telling you? What is 412? Expresses his opinion on the financial statements of any business or enterprise where he, his partner, his firm or his relative AS 18 has substantial interest. However, information system work related to the employer where the report is not submitted to the outside authorities is allowed. Right, so expresses his opinion on any business or enterprise in which he, his firm, his partner in his firm, or relative has substantial interest. This clause is meant for reports and certificates which are submitted to any outside authority, but not where statements are prepared by members in employment for information system of their employers. You understand? So I am a CA in practice, plus I am working at AS Foundation, and if I do some information system work for AS Foundation, that is allowed. But expressing opinion on financial statements of AS Foundation, not allowed. Right? So to keep the maker-checker different, you will understand it by looking at the following table. You're an employee of the concern. Can you do the audit of the employer? No. You're a part-time lecturer in a college. Can you do the audit of the college? No. You're appointed as a liquidator. Can you audit the statement of accounts for liquidation? No. You're an employee trustee of the trust. Can you do the audit of the trust? No. You're writing the books of account. Can you audit the books of account? Can you audit the financial statements? No. Right. CA himself is the owner partner in the business. Can he do the audit of that business? No. Partner relative of CA has substantial interest. Can he do the audit? No. Partner relative of CA is the director in a company. Can he do the audit of that company? नहीं, ये तो अभी 141(3)(f) में भी आया है. Relative is a director or is in the employment as a director or a key managerial personnel of the company. तुम्हें समझ रहा है ना what I am telling you? Right? Company in which partner relative of CA is a director. Can he do the audit? No. CA himself is a director. सवाल ही नहीं आता है. Officer employee of the company. You understand now? 141(3)(b. Right? So to keep the maker and checker different. Right? Come to question number 1. November 2001, November 2004, and then November 2014. And 3 times asked in the exams. Right? Read question number 1. But right now I'm telling you now, life is very easy. You're looking at the clause and you're seeing the question. That time that information system word in the exam just looks like any other word. There is no significance, you know, there's that picking up of that word, कि ये information system, मतलब ये 412 का exception है. You understand? Information system is the technical word. It is just not that you wanted to use they have wanted to use some word, that is why they said information system. Right. So firm of CAs were appointed by a company to evaluate the cost of the various products manufactured by it for their information system. One of the partners of the firm was a non-executive director of the company. Is it okay? Guilty or not guilty? Not guilty? Is there substantial interest? Yes, but are they expressing opinion on financial statements? No. What are they doing? Information system work. So that is why cannot be constituted to be a misconduct. It is a verification of facts and no opinion is expressed. It is a verification of facts and no opinion is expressed. What does it say? The Council of ICAI has categorically stated that in cases where a member is a director of a company, the firm in which the said member is a partner should not express any opinion on its financial statements. Right, come to question number 2. P, a CA in practice, accepts appointment as a statutory auditor for LMN Private Limited. Q, brother of P, has substantial interest in LMN Private Limited. Brother is relative, no? Right? So what does it say? You cannot express an opinion where you, your firm, your partner, your relative has substantial interest, and also it says as per 141(3)(f). Right? A person shall not be eligible if relative is the director or is in the employment as a director or key managerial personnel. Since Q, a relative, has substantial interest in LMN Private Limited, P cannot conduct the audit and needs to vacate the office. Thus, Q will be guilty of misconduct in terms of the above clause. Question number 3. A has been appointed statutory auditor of a private limited company. Statutory auditor of a private limited company, whereas sister's husband is having 75% ownership. Now, pehle to who is this fellow? Spouse's sister's husband. Sadhu. Perfect. You understand now? है ना? साली का मियाँ. Spouse's sister's husband, no? That is what they are saying over there. Is that comes under the definition of relative as per AS 18? No. So that is why in that case you can express an opinion. Yes, such would not amount to any professional misconduct. Yes, no professional misconduct, right? So that is clause 4, part 1, second schedule. So you see, like, it's not that no questions have been asked. No, over a period of time, questions are scattered from this clause 4, part 1, second schedule also. So what is clause 1, part 1, second schedule? Breach of confidentiality, CS in practice. 2, certifies without examining the related records. 3, vouches for the accuracy of the forecast. 4, expresses opinion where substantial interest is involved. Bolo ek baar fir se, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breach of confidentiality, CS in practice. Certifies without examining the related records. Vouches for the accuracy of the forecast. Expresses opinion where substantial interest is involved. One last time. Breach of confidentiality, CS in practice. Certifies without examining the related records. Vouches for the accuracy of forecast. Expresses opinion where substantial interest is involved. Okay. Now coming to clause 5, part 1, second schedule. Now coming to clause 5, part 1, second schedule. Okay. Now, first example. Right? You are doing the audit of Geo Limited. Just this Geo Limited is an employer company. This is the employer, say, which has 10,000 employees working with it. And for these 10,000 employees, they have the PF contribution, Provident Fund ka contribution. This employee-employer contribution, दो parts होता है ना, employee-employer contribution of the PF trust from the employer company is going to the PF trust. तो ये PF contribution के लिए Geo Limited ने क्या किया है? They have created a PF trust. So all the monthly PF contribution, employee-employer contribution is going from the employer company to the PF trust. है ना? Is going from the employer company to the PF trust. Right. Who are the trustees of this PF trust? Who are the trustees of this PF trust? The management of Geo Limited. And who are the beneficiaries or the subscribers of this PF trust? Who are the beneficiaries or the subscribers of this PF trust? The employees of Geo Limited. Does everybody understand that? Okay. Now, you have been appointed as an auditor of the PF trust. You have been appointed as an auditor of the PF trust. Now, while doing the audit of the PF trust, the auditor has observed that whatever contribution has come from the employer company to the PF trust has again gone back to the employer company in the form of a loan. So one hand say they are giving the money in the form of a PF contribution and then again taking back that money, the employer company, from the PF trust in the form of a loan. This who observed? The auditor during the course of the audit of the PF trust. So what he did, now he came to know that loan is being given out of the employer from the PF trust to the employer company. He disclosed this information to the trustees of the PF trust, but he did not give this information to the beneficiaries, to the subscribers of the PF trust. What he did in his confidential report to the trustees, he has mentioned a loan has been given out of the PF trust to the employer company. But in the annual report of the trust or in the report to the subscribers, beneficiaries of the trust, he has not mentioned regarding this loan given by the PF trust to the employer company. This matter went right up to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court said, no, the auditor is guilty of professional misconduct by not disclosing the information to the beneficiaries of the PF trust and by only giving it to the trustees of the PF trust. It's like, during the course of audit of a company, now forget PF trust for 1 minute. During the course of audit of a company, you came to know a fraud. And that is why what you did, you reported the fraud to the management, but not to the shareholders of the company. Your primary responsibility is to report to the shareholders, not to the management. So your management is nothing but the trustees, and the shareholders are nothing but the beneficiaries or the subscribers of the PF trust. Right? So to whom should have auditor disclose the information? Not only to the trustees, but also to the beneficiaries and the subscribers of the PF trust. है ना? Supreme Court decision. And here the chartered accountant was guilty of professional misconduct under 512. A chartered accountant in practice shall be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he fails to disclose a material fact. Fails to disclose a material fact. इतनी बड़ी बात कि loan is being given out of the PF trust to the employer company, fails to disclose a material fact known to him. Does the CA know about this fact? Yes, known to him, which is not disclosed in the financial statements. Has it been disclosed in the financial statements of the PF trust? No. Which has not been disclosed in the financial statements, but disclosure of which is necessary in the financial statements where he is concerned with such financial statements in a professional capacity. Let's try to understand again. What does 512 say? Fails to disclose a material fact. Itni badi baat. Known to him, which is not disclosed in the financial statements, but disclosure of which is necessary in the financial statements where he is concerned with such financial statements in a professional capacity. Simple language mein, management has not disclosed. Has the management disclosed that loan has been given? If I take this example, has management disclosed? No. Had they disclosed, तो बात आगे बढ़ती ही नहीं थी. Okay, management has not disclosed. So, okay, auditor, what is your काम? If they don't disclose, at least you disclose. You have also not disclosed that management has not disclosed. And that is why you are guilty under 512. What is the 3-line sentence which I say? Management has not disclosed. And auditor has also not disclosed that management has not disclosed. Then guilty of professional misconduct under 512. Yes, just one more example over there. And a company had issued debentures. And for these debentures which they had issued, there was a debenture trust deed. And in the debenture trust deed, it was written that in order to provide funds for the redemption of the debentures on the due date, every year some amount is to be put into a sinking fund. So what was written in the debenture trust deed? That the company needs to create a sinking fund in order to provide funds for the redemption of the debentures. However, the sinking fund was not created. Management has so not disclosed that sinking fund not created. So auditor, at least you should have disclosed that sinking fund has not been created. Auditor also did not disclose that management has not disclosed non-creation of sinking fund in accordance with the terms in the debenture trust deed. Even that is guilty of professional misconduct under 512. Tell me once again, what are the wordings of 512? Fails to disclose a material fact known to him. Him matlab who? Auditor. With known to him, which is not disclosed in the financial statements, but disclosure of which is necessary in the financial statements where he is concerned with such financial statements in a professional capacity. In our language, how do we remember? Management has not disclosed, and auditor has also not disclosed that management has not disclosed, then guilty of professional misconduct under 512. Okay. Right, so what does it say? Fails to disclose a material fact. Right, then I gave you this example, non-creation of a sinking fund in accordance with the debenture trust deed. Right, then CA failed to examine how debts became bad and were written off. ये अभी तक exam में case study नहीं बना है, B point का. Failed to examine how debts became bad and were written off. He said, I couldn't check only. Directly debts have been written off. And the Supreme Court decision which I told you. What decision did I tell you? Supreme Court का? Loan has been given, है ना, out of the PF trust to the employer company. And this information was disclosed only to the trustees of the PF trust and not to the beneficiaries of the Provident Fund Trust. But what did the court decision say? Okay, not only to the trustees, but you also have to disclose it to the beneficiaries of the PF trust. Are you getting what I am saying? Right, so come to question number 1. Extraordinary, a practicing CA had failed to report regarding a material claim against the company of which he was aware and which management intentionally did not include in their financial statements as it would affect the price of their share on the stock exchange. तो management बोलते जानबूझ के हमने नहीं डाला है, नहीं तो हमारा share price will fluctuate. So management has not disclosed and auditor has also not disclosed that, management has not disclosed. That is why it will come to 512. Right, next one, question number 2. A practicing CA was appointed to represent a company before the tax authorities. A practicing CA was appointed to represent a company before the tax authorities. Represent a company before the tax authorities. Can a CA represent client before tax authorities? Yes. He submitted on behalf of his client certain information and explanation to the authorities which were found to be false and misleading. He is representing client before tax authorities and he submitted certain information to the authorities on behalf of the client which was found to be false and misleading. Guilty? Guilty hai? What he didn't know? Certifies without examining the related records. That is report on examination of financial statements. Here he is representing the client before the tax authorities. So he is only acting as an AR, an authorized representative. And he has not reported. He has only submitted. And that is why no guilty of professional misconduct. That submitted word is the, what you say, the main attention catcher word in the question. As per clause 5, part 1, second schedule. No, but then obviously the tax ka whatever information is there, that will be from the financial statements only, na, which are prepared for tax purpose. Clause 2, but then वही, generally, specifically, then you have 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. अभी आगे तो और danger बढ़ेगा. So every time it will remind you of 2. So I'll tell you how to identify whether it's a question of 5 or 6. Okay, right. Then as per clause 6, in the given case, the CA had submitted the statements before the authorities. These statements are based on the data provided by the management of the company. Although the statements prepared were on incorrect facts and misleading, the CA had only submitted them acting on the instructions of his client as his authorized representative. Hence, the CA would not be liable for professional misconduct. So, though what he is given is false, but still it says he is only submitted, he is not reported. That is why he is not guilty. Right? Read question number 3. It is on that Supreme Court decision. Yes, he said that he owed no duty to the individual members. His statement that he owed no duty to the individual members is wrong and is guilty of professional misconduct. And it is no defense for a CA to say that he had disclosed the irregularities to the company. It is his duty to have made disclosures to the beneficiaries of the trust and also in the statement of account signed by him. Read question number 4. J, a CA, has identified that ABC has taken a loan of 15 lakh from Provident Fund during the course of audit. The said loan was not reflected in the books and the statements were prepared ignoring the same. So again, 512, है ना? Loan not disclosed. Question number 5. Qureshi, a CA, failed to report to the shareholders of Z Limited about the non-creation of a sinking fund in accordance with the debenture trust deed, and did not make clear that the amount shown as sinking funds were borrowed from the managing agents of Z Limited. So again, fails to disclose a material fact known to him. Right, question number 6. Loans were given out of the funds of an EPF to the employer company in contravention of the rules. As the auditor of the said provident fund, M disclosed the contravention to the trustees but failed to do so to the members of the fund. So again, does not give the information to the beneficiaries. Question number 7. The superannuation cum pension fund for the employees of a company was under a separate trust. Both the company and the trust were under the same management. The auditor who was auditing the accounts of the company as well as of the trust noted some irregularities in the operation of the trust and commented upon these irregularities in the confidential report given to the trustees, but did not mention about these irregularities in his reports on the annual accounts of the trust. Right? So again, fails to disclose a material fact. Right? So generally, as it is very confusing, no? Okay, whether 512, 212, abhi to more to add it to be live, 612 and 712. So generally, the rule, whenever the question is on provident fund and loans given by year to there and not disclosed, you are going to write 512. And second, you have that sentence, management has not disclosed and auditor has also not disclosed, that management has not disclosed, then also 512. You understand? So one thing to we know, okay, whenever provident fund they're given and not disclosed, then 512. And second sentence, what I have told you, have you written that sentence? Management has not disclosed and auditor has also not disclosed, that management has not disclosed. Management has not disclosed. Where will management disclose? Financial statements. And auditor has also not disclosed. Where will auditor disclose if management has not disclosed? Very good, in the auditor's report. So now management ने financial statements में लिखा है, now auditor ने audit report में लिखा है, so that will be guilty under 512. Yes, management has not disclosed and auditor has also not disclosed, that management has not disclosed. Right, that is 512. And again, whenever there is a question on provident fund, again in that case it is going to be 512. Yes, is that okay? Right, so we'll stop here for today.